Horrible.
Conservative Friedrich Merz is set to be sworn in as Germany's new Chancellor at a critical juncture as the economy battles its longest post-war downturn. Relations with top security ally, the United States, fray, and the far right surges. Lawmakers are widely expected to back Merz as Chancellor in a vote in the lower houses of Parliament after his CDU-CSU Conservatives, who won February's federal election, secured a coalition deal with the centre-left Social Democrats. The pressure is on for Merz to show leadership after the implosion last November of outgoing SDP Chancellor Olaf Scholz's three-way coalition left a political vacuum at the heart of Europe, and even as it faced a myriad of crises. Outgoing Chancellor Olaf Scholz wished his successor, Friedrich Merz, much success, fortune, and a lucky hand in all the tasks and challenges that lie ahead. During a military ceremony marking his departure. According to analysts, while Merkel was an even-tempered pragmatist who moved the Conservatives towards the centre, Merz is a proactive economic liberal who has shifted the bloc back to the right. Merz's supporters point out that he secured a historic fiscal package to increase spending on infrastructure and defence even before assuming office. Let's move back over to North America, where US military personnel reinforced barbed wire fencing along the border near Ciudad Juarez, while Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum reaffirmed her opposition to US President Donald Trump's proposal to deploy American troops in Mexico to fight drug trafficking. Sheinbaum's remarks came in response to a Wall Street Journal report claiming that Trump has been pressuring Mexico to permit increased US military operations against drug cartels near the border. Let's take a listen in to what the Mexican President, Claudia Sheinbaum, had said.
En alguna llamada, más que como un amago, como lo presentó el Wall Street Journal, el presidente Trump dijo, queremos ayudar a México. Y para ayudar a México, pues queremos mandarles, entre otras, tropas o si es que lo necesitan. Y yo le dije, no, presidente Trump, eso no. Podemos colaborar en muchas otras cosas dentro del marco de nuestra soberanía y de la territorialidad que a cada uno de nosotros nos corresponde.
Meanwhile, President Trump stated that the US would consider taking unilateral military action if Mexico does not decisively act against the cartels. The two leaders have held several calls in recent months to discuss security, immigration, and also trade. Let's move over to Africa, where explosions and fires have rocked Sudan's capital, Port Sudan, on May the 6th, as the civil war between the army and the paramilitary rapid support forces escalates. Witnesses reported dark smoke billowing from the area near the city's main maritime port, which is now home to hundreds of thousands of displaced people. The attack marks a significant escalation, as Port Sudan has been untouched by violence until now. Sudan's army-aligned authorities reported yesterday that rival paramilitary forces launched a second drone strike in 2 days, targeting the government's seat of power and igniting a fire at the country's main fuel depot. In an international development, the International Court of Justice rejected Sudan's complaint against the United Arab Emirates, declaring it a manifestly incompetent to rule on the genocide complicity case. Let's turn back to Europe, where Romanian Prime Minister Marcel Ciolacu resigned on Monday after far-right candidate George Simion topped the first round of a presidential rerun vote, pushing the ruling coalition's candidate Crin Antonescu out of contention. Ciolacu, whose Social Democrats will exit the ruling coalition, said the coalition no longer holds legitimacy after Sunday's vote. He will stay on in a caretaker role until the May 18th runoff, where Simion, a nationalist and EU critic, will face pro-EU Bucharest Mayor Niscasor Dan. Simion's strong showing has raised concerns in Brussels and Washington as he campaigns against EU influence and aligns with Donald Trump. A far-right win could shift Romania's foreign policy, with the president holding sway in EU and NATO matters. The runoff follows the annulment of the initial vote over alleged Russian interference and a pro-far-right TikTok campaign backing banned candidate Kalin Georgescu. Listen in.
Coaliția de guvernare nu are o legitimitate, cel puțin în această și am propus colegilor mei ieșirea din coaliția de guvernare, care implicit duce la demisia mea din funcția de prim-ministru, pe care o să-l fac după întâlnirea.
We stay in Europe once again, and it was a grand and emotional tribute in London as Britain marks the 80th anniversary of victory in Europe Day. King Charles and Queen Camilla hosted a special tea party at Buckingham Palace for World War II veterans. They were also joined by Prince William, Princess Kate and their children, along with other senior royals. Also in attendance, British Prime Minister Keir Starmer. He held a separate tea party for veterans outside 10 Downing Street. The day began with Big Ben striking noon and excerpts of Winston Churchill's VE Day speech echoing across central London. More than 1,300 armed forces personnel marched from Parliament to Buckingham Palace. King Charles saluted the troops while crowds, many waving Union Jacks, lined the streets. The celebration ended with a spectacular flypast, FEA turning historic World War II aircraft, modern fighter jets and the iconic Red Arrows display team. The royals gathered on the palace balcony to watch the skies, joined by thousands on the moor below. The commemorations also included a symbolic gun salute from the World War II era HMS Belfast. Ukrainian troops joined the parade, highlighting continued British support amid the war with Russia. VE Day, first celebrated in 1945 after Nazi Germany's surrender, is being remembered only 4 days of national events across the UK. We move on once again. Jury selection is underway for the trial of music mogul Sean Diddy Combs, who faces charges of racketeering and sex trafficking. He is accused of coercing women into drug-fueled sexual performances. Combs has pleaded not guilty to the charges, but authorities found drugs and over 1,000 bottles of baby oil in Combs' residence, which are said to have been used in what Combs referred to as freak-offs, day-long drug-fueled sexual performances that allegedly took place for nearly 2 decades. During jury selection, prospective jurors acknowledged having seen a video of Combs assaulting a woman and a comedian's joke about baby oil found in his residence. However, having followed the case in the media did not disqualify them from potentially serving on the jury. The trial is expected to last up to 2 months, and if proven guilty, Combs faces a minimum of 15 years in prison or a life sentence. Let's now move over to the United States.